select businesses in 10 states reopen today for the first time in over a month.
With the U.S. death toll now topping 63,000.
Hundreds of protesters converged on the Michigan State Capitol, some carrying guns, calling on the governor to lift restrictions so shuttered businesses could reopen.
We have to start by realizing that the federal guidelines that started as 15 days and then became 45 ended. And so the United States woke up on May 1st, really with each of the states realizing they were on their own, and with each of the people realizing that they had to discover what their states and their mayors were telling them to do.
Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York just today saying this comes down to human life and how valuable that life is.
A human life is priceless, period. Our reopening plan doesn't have a trade-off.
More of the country is reopening. 43 states will have lifted some business restrictions by this weekend.
This is wrong on every single level, and the collateral damage is going to be far worse than what's happening. A rise in depression, a rise in suicide, child abuse is on the rise.
Everybody's adult, everybody knows what they can do. We don't need the government telling us what to do.
Tonight, hear the staggering new unemployment number soaring to 14.7%. That's the worst since the Great Depression.
I don't know if people want to sit in restaurants so close to each other anymore. It's scary. You know, you've been doing it for 21 years.
There is a real risk that you will trigger an outbreak that you may not be able to control, which in fact, paradoxically, will set you back, not only leading to some suffering and death that could be avoided, but could even set you back on the road to trying to get economic recovery.
If people want to quarantine, quarantine. If you don't want to quarantine, don't quarantine. Go out, do what you normally do.
In New Jersey, one of the hardest hit states, thousands crowding boardwalks and flocking to the beach as well.
Now, as the U.S. opens, 8 states still seeing an increase in the number of new cases, including Texas, which reported its highest daily rate on Saturday.
I happen to be taking it. Hydroxychloroquine? I'm taking it, hydroxychloroquine.
When?
Right now, yeah.
All 50 states that are now relaxing at least some restrictions amid concerns of new hotspots emerging. This as people get ready, of course, to head to parks and beaches for the holiday weekend.
At this stage, it's pretty clear that Americans are over COVID. They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to listen to it. They don't want it to be on their TVs. The problem is, COVID's not done with us.
After back-to-back pool parties at Missouri's Lake of the Ozarks, health officials urging anyone there to self-quarantine for 14 days.
There are different tolerance levels from every individual. Their expectations as to whether they want to wear a mask or they want to wear gloves or they don't, it's really, really hard on a one-on-one basis, to enforce that. So you have to kind of leave it up, to the individual to do that.
The human toll crossing a jarring milestone.
There are now more than 100,000 confirmed deaths from COVID-19 across the country. Health experts believe the actual death toll is much higher. Anger over the death of George Floyd boiling over
as protests spread to cities far beyond Minneapolis.
We've seen Mardi Gras as a super spreader event that brought a lot of viral load and disease to Louisiana. I fear the protests of late will be the super spreader event of this summer.
As this country now struggles with 2 major crises at the same time. Cases of coronavirus are now on the rise in 15 states as this country slowly reopens.